The thing about it is, if health is your number one goal and personal satisfaction is a part of your number one goal, because what it does is it actually gives you the motivation to think of yourself as the number one person. It puts you in a place where you know that everything that's going around you and everyone that is dependent on you, you have to remember that if you don't take care of yourself, you won't be here to take care of them. So
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Brave Today podcast. This show is going to encourage, challenge, and maybe even provoke you to step outside of your comfort zone so that you can take more action to better improve yourself and ultimately your overall health. I'm your host, Mark Avens, and in this crazy, whacked out world that just continues to keep pushing a narrative for people like you and me to become softer and weaker and sicker and unhealthier and more dependent than ever, the goal and intent of the show is to help you navigate through this so that you can become braver today than you were yesterday. Hey.
how are you?
There you are. Good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Doing well. Where are you at now? Are you in California? Where are you at?
Oh yeah, I'm in California.
Nice. How's it going? Good weekend?
I worked.
It worked?
Yeah, work part of it.
Yeah. Not travel?
Nah, I'm actually going to work in a couple of hours too. Well,
Oh,
not a
yeah.
couple of hours, but a few hours.
A good deal. Good deal. I was just sending you a message because I was wondering, I was like, did I mess up on the time? And I was like, oh no, here she is. And you just popped on. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you for taking time out. I know you have a full plate schedule and, but I really, truly just want to celebrate, your success so far and your wins. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's really all I have like for us, unless you had any questions for me. But it basically, I have 3 questions to ask and we can jump right in and we'll go from there. Pretty
Okay.
straightforward. If you have any questions you want to ask me or anything like that, you got me on. So let's get into it. Let's do it. So the first question is, what was like it's pretty straightforward. What was life like before the program, like before getting started? What was your life like?
Well, my life before the program was, how can I put it? It wasn't so structured. I know what I needed to do. I wasn't in a place where I actually had a structured daily living. I just do things if it comes to mind. Now I get up every day and I know there's something that I have to do and I just go ahead and do it.
Gotcha. And one of the things, you shared with your schedule being so kind of busy and traveling and school and work and all that stuff is that was I mean, you had no choice. That had to be scheduled. So was it more scheduling time just for you, for you? Is that
Yeah,
more or less what it was?
like it's like my personal, it's like me as a person didn't really matter. That was it.
Gotcha.
I was here, but maybe I thought I was superwoman or something.
Gotcha. So with that, as far as, superwoman or maybe wanting to be like superwoman, right? What was it that made you make that kind of step in deciding, and I probably could use some help with this.
Well, as I stated on our first encounter, once I lost my mom to the effects of diabetes and the grief of, knowing that all this was preventable,
Mm.
I knew I needed some help. So when I actually came across your advertisement on Facebook, I said, you know what, let me reach out and see if this would be helpful to me. And I did, and the rest is history.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's talk about like at least, recently. What's life been like now? You mentioned some structure. What has been some of your breakthroughs? Maybe 1 to 2 your breakthroughs while we've been
Well,
working together. You've been working with Coach Joanne.
like for now, it's like I do like every single day. Like even now, when I'm done with you, I am going for my walk. I do it every single day. Doesn't matter what I have to do, that's priority. And my eating has gotten so much better.
Let's
I
dig
mean,
into that. How do you mean your eating has gotten so much better? So what
I
is
mean,
like,
it's gotten to the point where like I am Jamaican. We have the best food out there and
I agree.
we cook the best stuff.
Yeah.
And I basically, even though I do not eat meat, but I still enjoy all the things that we eat. We have the best desserts, everything that you can think about.
Mhm.
And there was a point in my life where it was one of my top priority when eating, like sweet stuff, because that's how we grew up, family member baking, puddings and all the stuff, which was great. and I've gotten myself out of that.
Now, are you denying yourself of all that good food, or are you just being more mindful of
I
how much
am
you eat and
now I'm
when?
not denying myself. I am a
Of
lot
course.
more mindful.
Perfect.
I am a
Yeah.
lot more mindful of what I eat. And one of the most important thing is portion control because we don't do that
Yeah. I
as a
mean,
culture.
the standard and even Jamaican culture, and honestly, every culture, I think, for the most part here, at least in the United States, is the portion control is really is a big challenge, regardless of the food. But on top of that, all the delicious food that you guys have is that it's like it's amazing. I had a neighbor who I remember he would cook saltfish, aki, I think he pronounced it that way, oxtail, and oh my goodness, it was the best smell every time I walk in the hallway.
Yep.
Good, good stuff, good stuff. So, what other kind of breakthroughs? So now that you've been, been more mindful in your eating habits and all the delicious food, not denying yourself as far as that goes. Any other breakthroughs that you've had with that and with exercise?
Like before, sleeping was always something that I don't really get a lot of.
Mhm.
But I know that a couple of times I've heard it from you guys that it's important that I actually do get my rest because I guess it helps. Even though as a nurse, I know it helps, but there's not enough time in the day, especially with my schedule.
So, is your sleep?
So
Are you getting more sleep or better sleep now?
I am actually trying to get more.
Mhm.
I don't know about the better because what is better sleep?
Oh, you feel rested. I say better as when you wake up and you're like, you know what? I slept well last night.
Thing about it is, I think my problem is because I work nights.
Mhm.
I don't see sleep. I'm always tired.
Yeah. Now, has
So
that
I
improved
can
since
say
you've
I try to get
changed?
more, not better.
Okay. So has it changed with your energy levels and with the eating habits and exercise with that respect?
I think it's gotten better because now I know that I need to do it and I set aside time to sleep. So like I used to like kill myself to drink like my 5 bottles of water. Sometimes I only do four because I don't want to have to wake up to go use the bathroom.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. That's the common theme, right? That's why we got to start with the water bottles early in the day or for you later in the day before you go to work, right?
Yeah, but either way, it's a problem because when I'm at work, I don't know if you know about nurses. We're the people who hold their urine for 8 hours. So
Well,
and
my wife, she
it's
was
not the
like
healthiest
against the
thing.
grain. Yeah, she couldn't. And that was something as what she used to work those 12-hour shifts. But I remember that was the biggest challenge for her, for sure. Yeah. Gotcha. Awesome. Well, so let's talk about results. Like what kind of results? I know, with when you first started versus now, I always like to share because people want to hear like what kind of results did you get?
I actually had gotten like close to my goal, and then me traveling back and forth to Jamaica a couple times this year kind of got me off because of course when I go home, I kind of indulged, especially
Sure.
when I went home for Independence this past August.
Hmm.
I really did indulge. And I creep back up a little bit. So as time goes by, I am slowly going back down, but I don't try to lose like a lot of weight at once because I don't have a lot on to begin with.
Right.
And I know it's not that healthy. So what I try to do is I always try to say, you know what, if I lose 5 ounces every week, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah, and just fluctuate around, the same few pounds up or down. You go
Yeah.
away, you might couple pounds, couple back. And the best part about it is that you're not having to diet through that. You're not having to starve yourself or to have to restrict calories or even restrict the foods because you have that structure in place ready to go, whether you go away out of town. I think that's been probably one of the things we have seen as our from our team for women that travel, they have busy lifestyles, is having that kind of flexibility to be able to travel and take their program with them and have that structure, even if they go off course, if they travel for vacation or go back home, indulge in some delicious food, whatever it is that you have the plan and structure to get right back on the planet
Yeah.
right away. And that's
Mhm.
really, really valuable. Cool. So that's awesome. And one of the things I always like to ask is what would you say if somebody was, if you had somebody that was thinking about it, they started asking you, well, they'd ask you the questions, what kind of results you get, but what would be something you'd say to somebody that's maybe on the fence about jumping onto our program, joining, getting the help that they need?
What I would tell them is the thing about it is if health is your number one goal and personal satisfaction is a part of your number one goal, what you want to do is you want to jump onto the program because what it does is it actually gives you the motivation to think of yourself as the number one person. It puts you in a place where you know that everything that's going around you and everyone that is dependent on you, you have to remember that if you don't take care of yourself, you won't be here to take care of them. So puts
Good.
you right on the track of being the number one person that everyone else think you are and wants you to be.
Well, I'll follow that up because and I didn't even prep you on that answer. That was such a great answer. Now, as a nurse, right? As a caregiver, caretaker, it's your job. It's in your description. And I know even for women specifically, it's so hard that we feel selfish if we start to take time for ourselves, where it takes us away from our jobs, our families, and all those types of things. And I would say was there any kind of moment, I think you shared earlier about your mom, but aside from that, would you share with any woman like that are taking everybody else's priorities and all of everybody else's goals and responsibilities and making them the biggest priority over themselves? A lot of women say this, just, I feel selfish when I take time for myself.
Well, they just have to think that, you know what, being selfish is what it needs for self-love.
Mm.
It's not about selfishness, it's about loving yourself.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think we'll end it there. That was really awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Susie, for sharing. And, one of the things I really love is the stories. I love hearing success. And I know I'm not in your life as far as like, we don't live near each other, but from I hear in our team and the coaches and your success and just share and hearing that, it just, I hope this resonates with some more women out there, whether they get help from our program or they actually just seek out the help that they need, because it is truly a difference. You can tell by the smile on her face, and maybe that she's just a natural smiley type of person. But I would say there's a freedom in that, having that ability to take really good care of yourself and then benefit from all the things that come with it. Thanks so much, Susie. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Coach.